can be policed.
I might call Gareth Hughes.
Thank you, Mr Chair. It's customary when you're debating the title and commencement clauses of bills in the committee stage to come up with parody titles. Now, Mr Chair, another I'd like to suggest for this is the Crown Minerals Lawmaking at its Worst bill. Because, Mr Chair, what we've seen, I think, is a pretty shocking abuse, and I use that strong word, considered, in a considered manner, because I believe it is an abuse of the process, because what we've seen is lawmaking at its worst. It's as if Simon Bridges has been looking at the tributes to Margaret Thatcher in the last few days and decided that's what he's going to model his legislative style on, is the most intransigent, iron-willed nature of that formidable Prime Minister. Because what we see here is a minister who has introduced a substantive amendment which international and legal experts and eminent New Zealanders have said has significant constitutional impacts. They say is an attack on rights. So he introduced this amendment, SOP 205, on Easter Sunday, when everyone was rightfully opening up their Easter eggs and spending time with their family and maybe not watching Q&A on the morning. Introduced a substantive amendment, but by introducing it as an amendment, of course, it had no select committee scrutiny, had no Attorney General Bill of Rights Act vet, and has meant that we've seen this amendment, the Anadarko amendment's been called, introduced, a week later voted on, and the government would have liked to have seen a third reading today. That wasn't to be the case, so we've got another week to organise, and I see the cyber petitions are rolling in, and there was 10,000 signed in the first 24 hours, so I'm sure there'll be a lot more. It's lawmaking at its worst because by avoiding a select committee hearing, you can't hear from the public, you can't hear from the experts. Another bill that I saw raced through the legislative process, the ultra-fast broadband, where $1.35 billion of the government or the taxpayers' money was on the line, has resulted in some embarrassing snafus from the government's perspective, and now we're seeing chorus with a $300 million blowout. If you don't have that public and expert ability to submit and for the committee to amend legislation, you have bad consequences. If you don't have a Bill of Rights Act yet, I believe you can have much more severe impacts, not just on the bottom line of a company, on fundamental values which we hold dear, which is human rights. Now, I call it lawmaking at its worst, the Crown Minerals Lawmaking at its Worst Amendment Bill, because we shouldn't be addressing legislation to amend the law to benefit one sector. Now, Simon Bridges in the earlier calls in the committee stage was alleging that the Greens would have pro-protester laws, and I say no. We have laws in New Zealand which apply to all New Zealanders. But what we see in this legislation is laws specifically targeting one company. Now, you can do the very same thing against a fishing boat and not face the same charges as you will under this legislation when it is finally commenced. It's only one sector gets impacted. Now, I don't believe that is lawmaking at its best. We shouldn't be writing laws to benefit one sector. This legislation contains arrest and detention powers for the military. Again, we should be using these considerable constitutionally important powers sparingly, only in extreme circumstances. We shouldn't be turning the New Zealand Navy into the private security company for Anadarko Corporation. Now, Mr Chair, I know you will read the Green Party blog, Frog Blog, and what I've proposed there is the Parliament's IT expert, Mr Williamson, isn't a reader of Frog Blog, and I'm immensely surprised. Yeah, apparently no one reads it. Not many people read it when you look at the blog rankings. But anyway, I've put up a blog there. I've proposed my proposal, and I'm going to take it to the Standing Orders Committee, and I'm going to introduce and support what David McGee recommended in 2003, what the Wellington Law Society has recommended in that year, in that Standing Orders Committee review, which is we should actually have a Bill of Rights Act vet for substantive supplementary order papers. Mr Chair, I think it's important. We have obviously a unicameral House and considerable legislative powers without the controls that you have in other overseas legislatures. And I believe it's important that we have a Bill of Rights Act overview over substantive SOPs, and I hope other parties would support a move in that direction. I think it would be a positive step, because what we don't want to see is Crown Mineral Law making it at worst legislations passing. We want to see lawmaking at its best, and that's what I believe New Zealanders demand of this House. Kia ora.
Jonathan Young.
I move the question be now put.
Question is that the question be now put. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party vote's called. We'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. The question will be put. The question is that clause 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. Clause 1 will stand part. We come to Clause 2. First, we have the Minister's Amendment. Clause 2 is set out on SOP number 210. The question is that the Minister's Amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. The amendment is agreed to. The question is that Clause 2 is amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party vote's called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. Clause 2 as amended will stand part.
Mr Chairman,
The Honourable Chris Tremaine.
I move supplementary order paper number 208, dividing the bill.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 59. The motion is agreed to. I will report this bill with amended and so divided.
The House is resumed, Mr Chairman.
Mr Speaker, the committee has considered the Crown Minerals, Permitting and Crown Land Bill and reports progress, with amendment and divided into the following bills: Crown Minerals Amendment Bill, Conservation Amendment Bill number 2, Continental Shelf Amendment Bill, Reserves Amendment Bill, Wildlife Amendment Bill. Mr Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
Question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have a party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National. 59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 61, the noes are 59. The report will be adopted. The Crown Minerals Amendment Bill, the Conservation Amendment Bill number 2, the Continental Shelf Amendment Bill and the Reserves Amendment Bill and the Wildlife Amendment Bill are set down for third reading next sitting day. And we call now on Government Order of the Day number 2.
Plumbers